Have you ever thought about, pouring your heart out to a machine? It sounds kind of weird, right? But people are actually doing it. And the results are, well, they're surprisingly profound. So today, we're going to dive into this really interesting paradox at the heart of AI therapy, how it can work so well for our minds, but at the same time, maybe, just maybe, make it harder to connect with our actual emotions.
I'm having a hard time not bawling my eyes out. Think about that. That's a quote from a guy in his 40s, a dad, just 15 minutes into his very first conversation about his feelings with ChatGPT. He'd never even been to therapy before, and it turns out he is definitely not alone. And that brings us to this idea of the Chatbot Confessional. It's this new phenomenon where people are having these huge emotional breakthroughs, not on some therapist's couch, but just through a screen. I mean, you look online and the stories are just incredible. People are claiming they've made more progress in a few months with an AI than they did in years of traditional therapy. And the big reason they keep pointing to? A total, complete lack of judgment. That feeling of freedom lets them open up about everything, from deep-seated grief to just, the anxieties of the day. Okay, so this is the big mystery, isn't it? How can a machine that's basically just a super advanced pattern matcher, how can it produce these life-altering results? What is really going on?
Well, this is where the debate usually splits into two big camps. We have to ask, is this real empathy we're seeing, or is it just some kind of mass delusion? Let's break that down.
So on one side, you've got the optimists. They're the ones who think, hey, maybe AI has gotten so good it can genuinely simulate empathy. One person said it's more rational and sensible than many humans. But then you've got the critics. They say, no way. They argue it's just us, projecting our own feelings onto a machine. It's like yelling across a canyon and thinking your echo is talking back to you. But here's the twist. What if this whole debate is missing the point? What if it's not about the AI becoming human, and it's not about us being delusional? What if the real answer isn't in the machine at all, but in how our own minds are built? To really get this, we've got to look at how our brains process the world. See, we basically have two different minds running at the same time. And it turns out AI therapy is brilliant at talking to one of them while almost completely ignoring the other. Just think of it like this. You've got a talking mind. That's your frontal cortex. It's logical, it loves structure, and it's great with words. It's the part of you that tells stories to make sense of everything. But then you've got the feeling mind, your limbic system. This part is all emotion. It's wordless. It processes that raw, physical, felt sense of an experience. This quote really nails it. Our frontal cortex, our talking mind, is great with language, but honestly, it's pretty bad at processing emotions. And the limbic system, the feeling mind, it's the exact opposite. It's a master of emotion, but it can't put any of it into words. Now, ideally, these two parts of our brain are talking to each other all the time, but for a lot of us, that connection is, well, it's pretty weak. And that is exactly why AI therapy feels so amazing. It's the ultimate tool for our talking mind. It helps us take that absolute tangled mess of thoughts and feelings inside and weave it all into a story that makes sense. It organizes the chaos, and our logical brain just loves that. But here's the thing, just having a good story, that's only half the battle. This brings us to a bigger idea, the body that knows. Because real emotional processing isn't just a story in your head, it's something that happens in your entire body. This leads us to this really cool concept called embodied cognition. Now, it sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. Your mind isn't just some software running on your brain's hardware. Instead, thinking, knowing, and feeling, they're all processes that involve your entire body interacting with the world around you. For a perfect example, think about a potter making a bowl. They don't just think up a design and then make it happen. No, they literally think through their hands. The knowledge is in that physical, tactile feeling of the clay spinning. It's a kind of knowing that exists completely outside of words. And listen, this isn't just some philosophical idea. It's hardwired into our biology. Researchers talk about knowledge as a process of bodily change. One philosopher said our body is the ultimate instrument of knowledge. We have these internal senses, like the vagus nerve, that are in a constant feedback loop with our brain. So knowing isn't just thinking. It's a full-body experience of being and doing. Okay, and this brings us to the finale. It's where we get to the catch, the potential hidden cost of relying only on AI for this kind of deep inner work.
So we've established it, right? AI is an incredible partner for our talking mind. It helps us build the story, find the words, and create a logical structure for all our messy experiences.
But here's the cost. Because AI is so good at creating that clean, neat story, it gives us an easy way out. It lets us build this perfect logical bridge right over the messy, difficult, and totally wordless work of actually feeling our emotions in our body. It lets us bypass the feeling mind entirely.
So it really just boils down to this. AI is an amazing tool for teaching us how to talk about our feelings. It gives us the words, the framework, all of it. But we have to ask the question, is that the same thing as truly feeling them on a deep, embodied, physical level?
So I'll leave you with this thought. As we get better and better at speaking the language of AI, a language of pure logic and text, are we running the risk of forgetting how to speak an older, quieter language, the language of our own bodies? Are we forgetting how to listen to the kind of knowledge that can never really be put into words?